Same outfit, same day, different video. Hello everybody, Marina for my August wrap-up. Yes, I know. Yes, don't blame me. Don't blame me. It took me some time to start it. Anywho, in the month of August, I read 6 books because I was lazy. And I think that even in September, I'm not going to be able to read as much as I would like to. So, yeah. Here we are for my August wrap-up. First book I read in August was this play by Baba Wole Soyinka, Death and the King's Horseman. I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. I didn't do any kind of review. It was, you know, I read it back to back with I Will Marry When I Want. And this also is a post-colonial story taking place set in Africa. So this is Nigeria, of course. And this here story is the story, how can I sum it up without spoiling it? Clearly, a king is dead. And in the Yoruba tradition, back in those days, when a king is dead, a month after his death, his horsemen also have to be not killed, but he has to commit suicide in a certain way to join him in the ward of the death to keep serving him. But prior to him committing the suicide, they have to kill the horseman, the horse. There are a lot of description in there, so you need to read to understand. But the thing is, when the king's horseman is getting ready to commit the suicide, the Englishmen who were still reigning over the country decided that this tradition was barbaric, that this tradition shouldn't be kept in the land. So he decided that he was going to save the life of the horseman, the king's horseman, without even asking him his point of view. He didn't want to listen to the people. He didn't want to listen to the natives or to the Nigerian themselves, telling him that that is the tradition, that the king's horseman, he's already mentally prepared to die. He knows what is his destiny. It's a tradition that's been going on for centuries, etc. He didn't want to listen. So because of that, things are going to change, and a kind of mental war will start between the British colonizer and the native Nigerian. That's all I can say. I gave it 5 stars because I was reading it with the eyes of an African woman. I wasn't trying to compare it to your Greek tragedies or stuff like that. I wasn't in there. I was reading really like, this is an African tale or an African play, period. If you read it that way, you will see how great that is. But if you read it comparing it to what you have read in the past, you may not find it as great as it is. But this one is very, very, very good. As I said, me personally, I gave it 5 stars, and I really recommend you read it. And you pay attention to every word, because this is Baba Wole Soyinka. You will have vocabulary and grammar, so be prepared. But that's what I love about him. Always teaching me, always schooling me. Whatever it is that I read from him, I'm always mentally prepared to get out of my reading with a richer vocabulary. So, yep, I recommend this. 5-star reads for me. Yeah. My second 5-star read of the month of August was this autobiography by Fred Khumalo, South Africa. This, I think, gotta be the first part in the autobiographies that he's going to write. I'm saying this because I want him to give me a second part. I give this 5 stars, so you guess why I'm looking for a second part. The story was good, informative, you know, funny at times. Even when there were cruel moments, harsh moment, he found a humorous way of sharing those moments with us, with the readers. So yes, I highly recommend this one. And for those of you who are more interested, I'll put the link up there somewhere to my review of this book. I really, really highly recommend this one if you're interested to know much more about apartheid South Africa, the Zulu culture, the political side, etc. I first said that it was the point of view of an innocent child, but actually he's not that innocent. You could not be that innocent in apartheid South Africa. You know, you were forced to grow before you were even ready. So you discover all this in this Autobiography. I really loved it. So yes, this was my second five-star read of last month. My third and last five-star read of the month of August is this play by Lynn Notage, Sweat. Gosh, this play is set in a bar in Reading in Pennsylvania, I think it is, and it's a community, and at the beginning of the play it's just a community where everybody live together, they talk together, they share bread and beers together. The children, they grow together. You don't know who's black, who's white, who's Latino or whatever. They all are close and they're good friends. They're just like families. And then a crisis strikes the city, and the main company in which everybody works is getting ready to get rid of a lot of people because of economical, you know, like restriction or whatever. I don't know how they named it in the play, but they have economic troubles in the country, or in that very city, and the company is getting ready to fire certain workers and also to open higher position to certain workers. So because of that, the city that we knew to be peaceful in the beginning starts to change, and the changes starts with the people themselves. We see the rise of racism, you know, separation between people due to the economic demise. Like, the white people are quick to blame the blacks, and the blacks you know, they have to justify that they are Americans too, because when problems occur, when problems show up, American people are the Caucasian one, the real American, according to those who write the rules, who set the rules in the country. Only the white ones are the good ones. There's a divide between races. Even those who used to drink together start fighting without any reason, you know, other than the color of the skin. And they start questioning the others, like, if you're black, are you really American? Go back to where you come from. But I was born and raised here, and my ancestors have worked in this country just as much as yours has done, and I've done in the past. And our families have always worked for that company. Remember that your child and mine went to school together, that we raised them as if they were brothers and sisters. And now, just because this company is about to shut the doors, you are starting a fight. And there are many other things going on in this play, but yeah, I gave it 5 stars because my emotion was just like, were just all over the place. I was like, oh my gosh. This was written, I don't know when, maybe 3 or 5 years ago. But what we see in the news every day resemble what I read here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if only we could learn from the past. So yes, I highly recommend this one. I loved it. The dialogues are so real. Like, you kind of hear, you can easily imagine these people speaking to you, and you can even feel the sweat of the skin. You can smell everything that is in there. I love the way she described everything, the way that she placed it, and the way she put the right words in the right mouth. Let's say that way. I loved it. The race relations in this book is great. And I wish this one was translated in French, because in the country I live in, some people need to read certain things and to relearn certain things, or maybe just simply learn certain things when it comes to race relations. Anyways, this one was a 5-star read for me, and I highly recommend it. Let's move on to my 3-star read. This one, I told you already about this book. Loved it, read it, had a review that I uploaded maybe 2 days ago, so go check this one. Yeah, there's also a review of this book on my channel already, so I'm not going to talk too much about this book. Let's just say that this book, I had high expectation for this book. The story in itself was worth telling. You know, don't get me wrong. This story was worth telling. But the execution was just simply not the one fitted for this type of story. I feel like it was a missed opportunity for the writer to tell a story, because a story could have been poignant, could have been used also maybe in schools and stuff, but if you want to read it, the only thing I can tell you is try to read it on your device. Buy it as on a he format, because it's cheaper. It's easier to get. I think one of the things that really pissed me off also was the fact that it is quite pricey from where I live, to have it on a physical copy. And then when I was reading it, it wasn't giving me exactly what I expected. I don't know what I expected exactly anyways, but it wasn't what I was being served. So I left the table and told everybody my point of view. So voila. Yeah, it happens sometimes. Not everything we read we love or we appreciate. I don't know. And the last one I read was this graphic novel, Angola Janga. This is the French version. This does exist in the English translated version, because it was originally done in Portuguese, because Marcelo de Salete is from Brazil. Voila. It is in black and white. The story is interesting, definitely interesting if you want to learn about the rebellion among the enslaved people of Brazil, how they left their masters to go settle in the jungle, and how the masters, not knowing the jungle the way they did, couldn't actually approach them, but they were helped by the Catholic Church, and they were lured, they were lied to by the white people, telling them that if they stopped living there, they will acquire automatically another form of freedom, which wasn't named freedom clearly, but they wouldn't be enslaved anymore, which of course we all know was a lie, because slavery is an ongoing process even today. So whatever. I gave it 3 stars because yes, I wish there were more words, and maybe I wanted it to be in colors also, and the graphics weren't extraordinary to me, but the story in itself was definitely worth the read. And I loved also the fact that before we get into every chapters, there's a kind of history lesson here, taken from other people's books or history books or whatever. So yeah, it's really informative. That's why I gave it 3 stars. When it comes to you know, the news, you have many informations, and it makes you want to go read much more about this period and these people, and yeah, you want to read more and you want to discover more. But the graphic novel in itself could have been more powerful. I think that the fact that there weren't enough words lessens the importance of what the writer was trying to share. So voila, that's it. See you in my next video. Bye bye.